What does the principle mind over matter mean? It means your brain over your body or your spirit over your flesh. One of my favorite verses is when Jesus finds his disciples sleeping when he was going through one of his most excruciating moments. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he tells them to wait, stay here and wait. Then he went and prayed and had that little scene there, and it's worth looking into what happened there in the Garden of Gethsemane. But he comes back and he finds them sleeping, and he says, watch, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. In other words, you want to do the right thing, but your body is on a different page. So back to mind over matter. The problem with this, if you're an atheist materialist or a materialist, which I think you can be a materialist without being an atheist, because the materialist would just say that all that exists is physical, which I would agree with. What else would there be, like non-physical? What do you mean non-physical? What? Name me something non-physical, and don't say God, because there's nothing that's not physical. If it exists, it's physical by definition. But if you say mind over matter, well, what is mind? And then you say that mind is neurons firing and synapses and brain chemicals, and that's what mind is. It's your brain. The mind is what the brain does, and behavior and neural activity are perfectly correlated, as I said in one of my last posts. So mind over matter is like saying your mind isn't matter, but according to the materialist view, your mind is just matter, the experience of matter happening. And that's what consciousness is, I suppose. Let me transition here to a completely different topic. What happens whenever you go and see a crystal ball person? Crystal ball is like fortune telling, which is prophecy, right? So they're going to look into the crystal ball and prophesy about your future, tell you what's coming. Now, will that affect, let's say they tell the truth and really see your future, will that affect your future, or will that happen no matter what? Even if knowing your future, would it still happen? But there's this danger of receiving revelation for other people. As Kanye said, God told me to tell you. And we got to beware about saying, that God told me to tell you something as if we can receive answers for other people. And that's just that's fishing in murky water. That's what advice is saying, I have the answers for you. And you got to be very gentle and sensitive about revelation for other people or advice for other people or saying you have the answers for other people. But I could make a business off this, or let me give you a parable, okay? Let's say I set up this business, and what you do is you send me in an email the top 5 or top 10 careers that other people have suggested for you, and said, I think you would be good at this. 10 or 5, and then you send them to me in an email. I print them out, each word, each career, and cut them out. And then I put them on a sacred blanket and pray over them. And then I put them in a top hat, and I sprinkle some parsley that I grew myself into the hat. And I invite you in, and I shake it up, and we have a little conversation. And I say, whatever I pull out, whatever occupation I pull out of this hat is the best thing you could do if you follow what others suggest you do. And then I pull out carpenter or something, and you say, okay, well, if I want to follow other people, I'll be a carpenter. And I said, that's correct. That'll be $150. Why am I correct and couldn't be sued is because it's true. If you did follow the carpenter profession, you would be doing what other people, mainly me, the guy pulling the name out of the hat, wants you to do. So if you want to follow other people, follow the revelation I have for you, the answer to your quest. I'll give it to you and say, this is what other people want, aka me. So if you want to do what other people want you to, here's something they already told you, and here's the name I pulled out of the hat. Let's raise the price. That'll be $500. These parsley, paprika, whatever I said, plants are expensive. So mind over matter, but is mind just brain chemicals farting, maybe? And then beware of other people saying, I received answers for you on what you should do, aka advice. That's enough for now.